Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Dr. Ward Bond Show. And with me right now is a returning guest that many of you have fallen in love with the first time, John Finch, the creator and producer as well as director of the Father Effect movie. And John, it's great to have you back.
Hey, Doc, I greatly appreciate you, man. Thanks again for letting me come back.
Oh, absolutely. And, a lot of people have been asking me since the first interview about some of the stories and how just the amazing impact your movie is making upon their lives. Can you share with us a couple more stories? How about maybe a father-daughter story? Because sometimes we don't think about how important a father is to the daughter.
Sure, Dr. Meg Meeker, who's a best-selling author of a book called Strong Father, Strong Daughter, she tells a great story. One of the most powerful ones I heard in the film. She said, John, I've looked at many, many young ladies. She's a pediatrician by trade, so she would have thousands of young ladies come into her office, give physicals, and kind of that's part of just what she does. And she said on more than one occasion, I have a young girl come in my office, and they were 16, 15, 14, 13. They were having sex at younger and younger ages. And she said on more than one occasion, I'd have a 13, 14-year-old come in. We'd have a physical. Nothing was wrong. But before the young lady would leave, she'd say, hey, doctor, can you write me a prescription? And the doctor would go, there's nothing wrong with you. You're totally fine. The young lady would say, I don't care what it's for, but just at the bottom of it, put cannot have sex. And she said, John, these young ladies were having sex with their boyfriends at 13, 14, 15 years old. It wasn't emotionally or physically pleasurable, but it was the only positive manly father affection they were getting. They weren't getting that positive fatherly love from their dads. So this was their permission slip to take to Johnny to say, hey, Johnny, I can't have sex anymore.
My gosh, that is powerful. Now, I have a son and I have a daughter. And when you produced this movie, what were the things that you learned? Because you have daughters yourself. And there's a different connection between father and daughter. So what did you learn by producing this film and seeing that and looking at that type of relationship?
I've got 3 daughters, so stories like that with Dr. Meg Meeker, those were like game changers for me. I wanted to go home right then and say, make sure my girls know I love them and I cherish them. I value them both inside and out. They're beautiful both inside and out. So it's words, the power of words, but also it's listening. My girls become intimate and emotional and relational through conversation. And there's many times where my girls just want me to listen. They don't want me to talk. Now, I learned this early on with my wife too, that sometimes she just wants to come vent or talk. She doesn't need to be fixed and doesn't want advice.
Yeah, right? Yeah, I got you. That's what us guys think we have to fix everything. We just need to shut up and listen.
Yeah. So sometimes they just want us to listen. So the power of that, the power of praying over my girls out loud in that manly fatherly voice, and praying for my wife in front of my girls, speaking life and love and encouragement about my wife, saying she has an incredible servant's heart. We are so blessed to have her as mom and wife and all of those things. That does so much for your children because they know mom and dad love one another. That's one less thing they got to worry about.
Now, what kind of questions have you been getting from people who that live in single parent families? And there's a big difference between an absent father, and I'm not just talking physically absent. I'm talking, well, yeah, physically absent, but a lot of them can be there and still be physically and mentally absent. But what about these, single parent households where the only figure in the household is the mother? So what needs to be done there?
I have a heart for single moms because I grew up with one. And my mom is one of the most amazing ladies you'll ever meet in your life. And she's an angel on this earth. But women cannot be dads. Just like me as a father, I cannot be a mom. I don't know. God didn't give me the tools to do that. So what I tell single moms all the time is get someone. You have to ask. Yeah. A lot of times a guy at church, a little league coach, a pastor, whomever it is, ask them to come hang out with your daughter or son once a month, once a week, whatever that looks like, because your daughter and son need to have a godly role model. If they don't know what that looks like. So if it's the young lady, she needs to know what she's striving to marry, right?
That's
And if it's
right.
a young man, he needs to know what it looks like so that he can aspire to be that when he gets older.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've got to watch the Father Effect movie. And John, where can everybody go to watch the film or even to download it?
So they can go to our website at thefathereffect.com.
You're leaving a huge legacy right now for so many families.
Brother, I greatly appreciate it. It's all God. It
Hey,
is all
amen.
God. He's doing
That's
stuff.
it, brother. Well, thank you so much for coming back to the program. Again, ladies and gentlemen, look up thefathereffect.com. You will be blessed beyond measure. So stick with me. We have more on today's program, and I'll be right back after this.